Okay, so we're back. Okay, so the third question was both Plato and Aristotle are suggesting that education is an important part of moving toward a happy and good life. What do they each convey on this matter? I'm just gonna kind of like rewind and like restart my answer. I know I little like answer that like
No, you're fine. Please. Thank you.
yeah. But for my perspective, Plato definitely emphasized a lot about education. He used like the word education a lot throughout his writing. So, in my opinion, he really viewed like the concept of education as a means to happiness. As far as Aristotle, he also mentioned that education could be one's true like perception of happiness. Like, oh, if I achieve an education, then I will become like happy and then this is like an ultimate goal in my life. They use like the term, I don't know really know how to pronounce it, but eudaimonia.
Oh, like the to be happy or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like the ultimate happiness and um I think in comparing both of their education, Plato views like education as like a means to like knowledge, intellectual understanding, truth, really changing one's life around from becoming ignorant and blind to like seeing the truth and being open-minded and understanding um other people around us, the concepts around us, and further knowledge and further exploration of different topics. And then Aristotle sees it as a way to, I want to say like develop habits that will lead to like a virtuous life. I think definitely in the article or like the little text that we read talking about ethics and everything, he definitely talks about um the doctrine of means where we need to find like a balance of a certain way of living with virtues. And so Aristotle definitely takes more of like a practical approach with his use of ethics and habitual development um, to instill like moral and intellectual virtues within ourselves to achieve happiness and like maybe one's perception of happiness is like the education aspect.
Yeah. No, I sounded amazing. Another good, yeah, another great answer.
Thank you.
And I would like to add on to that for this is question three, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. So for question three, I feel like when pl for Aristotle when he mentions like how education is an important part of life, I feel like that he really like the reason he implies so heavily on education is because my interpretation is that since education is what forms your own sense of logic and how it takes you with your own personal knowledge from what you learned in your in your studies, you can take that and that changes your sense of logic and how you see the world.
Yeah. No, I agree with that too. Because that's like the what, like they were saying before, like your sense of logic will still create your definition of happiness, even though it could your sense of logic could change the more and more you learn. Um, no, yeah, I like
Because
that.
you
I
start
appreciate that too.
developing new different pathways that develop into different senses of logic.
Yeah. And I'm still gonna use my previous answer on the previous video, if that makes sense.
Okay. Yeah. I remember you answered first. Yeah. All right. Do we feel prepared to move on to the fourth question?
Yep.
Yeah.
All right. So the fourth question is Plato provides a hint of what a good life looks like in the allegory of the cave. Do you see this represented in Aristotle reading? If so, in what ways?
I could go again. The way that like I interpreted it, the way that I felt, the way that Aristotle, because I think he does actually. There is like a hint of Plato's teachings in the sense of
Yeah, because he's like
like,
his teacher and everything.
yeah, oh yeah, 100%.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
It's like impossible to get
He's
it
like,
not
I'm
to.
taking your knowledge.
Yeah, and just
Let me make
expanding
this
on it.
better.
No, 100%. Yeah. Um, like because Plato offers a theory of you have to create the idea of there's a prisoner in this cave, that there's all this stuff going out there. Just like how Aristotle is stating how you have to take account one's past to create their own education. Even
Mhm.
though that we all like, even though there's so many different types of people, it doesn't. Well, that's the reason why there's so many different answers to whatever kind of education you're looking for. It's just for every person, there's a new way to achieve happiness, I guess.
Mhm.
Um, and with the idea that Plato created some imaginary concept to achieve what he thinks is happy, I think Aristotle just pinpointed that and said, we don't need to create something. This is what he means.
Yeah. Like taking a realistic approach
Yeah,
to,
exactly. Exactly. More
yeah.
of a pinpoint instead of a story.
Yeah. I
With
think
that, sorry, Paris, you can go.
oh, I was just gonna say that, yeah, I wrote in actually like the discussion board post that or not in the discussion board post, excuse me, the notes that we had for this workshop where we're talking about the strengths and weaknesses. I definitely put that for Plato's, there was a lot of gray room on achieving this happiness. He said like, oh, yay, education. It'll take you into the light. It'll lead you to enlightenment. But he didn't really take us through a step-by-step process on how to get there, how to cultivate ultimate happiness or like enlightenment or true understanding. But Aristotle like bounces off those ideas, kind of takes it, cooks up a little bit more, elaborates upon it, and like finds like a solution or like a methodology in order to achieve those things.
I was gonna say for I was gonna say how I feel like Plato is more like yay, happiness. And we have there's that life if you just education of life is good. But if Aristotle was more logical about it and how he goes about it and how he's like, okay, like he I feel like he's more in a sense more logical about and like I don't know if I think Jackson was the one who said it. I feel like it's more realistic in the sense of like how education can open your mind and therefore it can make you like it can help you be more logical and have a better outlook on stuff when you have to rationalize certain things in your life.
Yeah, for sure.
That's
Um,
one thing I will say too about like, and actually what I, as much, I almost feel like it's a weakness more than anything with Aristotle, like with Aristotle's work than over Plato's. Plato, I can kind of be more lenient because I know he's just creating a story that you have to follow, and with the story being created, you can just everybody can kind of come up with their own assumptions of why this action led to this end and so on and so forth. Like, but with like Aristotle's work, it's almost like, yeah, we understand that we're trying to achieve happiness, and we understand that there may be like a subsection of this happiness that we can go down to achieve the ultimate goal of happiness. But there still is no real definition of what like happiness is. There is no definition of like why everyone still wants to achieve happiness. We all agree that we all want happiness, but still nobody knows why we want happiness and none of that. And like so I felt like even though there is more of like a direct path to get to that idea of what we want to be happy, it leads to so much more questions of like like well just what who how like why are we trying to be happy? What's the point? Who are we trying to prove this to? I know we're
mhm,
trying to be self-sufficient and that know that like all of our things that we do is there is no reason why we just do it because we know it will make us happy.
mhm.
But then like whatever, are we just like I feel like there's so many more questions with that.
Yeah. And I think it's actually great that you mentioned that there is so many more questions that come out of it. And I think that's definitely something like a value and like something that Plato is trying to like take out of like learners that we should question why we want to be happy or why we want to cultivate happiness or why we want to achieve things in life. And so I think that's actually really cool that you mentioned that.
And like well, I'm sorry, my bad. Just thinking about that too.
No, you're so good.
Why would and I still don't like I truly believe because this is why I think why like maybe my what like I guess my idea of achieving happiness, there is a lot of stuff that relates to both these guys without ever really knowing it,
Hmm.
but it may not necessarily fit the ideas that they have.
Yeah, like the
But
mold.
like I really believe like more on Plato's side, you can't have light without dark. Like
Yeah.
this guy wouldn't be
That
able
there
to
has
see.
to be a balance, like a yin and
Yeah,
yang sort of thing.
yeah.
Yeah.
Like you can try like our Aristotle from of course this is just like little depictions of his work, not the entire work.
Hmm.
But it seems like seems to like disregard sadness.
Yeah.
Like you have to be sad to be happy. Like you
Yeah.
have to be sad to be happy.
Yeah. That's
I
Um,
feel
great
like
way
with
to
what
tie
they're
that.
mentioning, like you said, like you're gonna have to be sad points to get to happiness. Like there's no like guarantee, like there's no like yeah you're gonna be happy the whole way and it's gonna be all positive. No, it's gonna your life is gonna go to like it's not gonna be great at points in your life, but you're gonna have to drag yourself out and you're gonna have to see the light and you're gonna have to be like okay, gotta keep going no matter how much that sucked. You're gonna have to keep going.
Yeah. I think both definitely emphasize like the process of like changing the process of growth and how we can both how they can both like cultivate those like goals and so cute and
sorry.
happiness. You're so good. Yeah.
Yeah. But I
That's
guess
great.
that's what this is for. That's why we're taking this class, why we're doing this stuff is to think about this stuff, which is fun. That's why I like this stuff, to say the least.
Yeah, for sure. Did you guys want to cover out question number 5, what we found most interesting about both of the philosophers?
Yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, I'll just we had like technically we have 4 minutes and 20 seconds left.
Yeah.
I mean,
I
we
guess we
could
can
just
talk
kill the
about it.
time with the 5 and 6 just to do it.
Yeah,
I
let's do that.
really like Aristotle because I'm autistic and my brain goes off logic all the time. So I really like just how based like I said he has such a linear thing about it. It's just the way that my brain really likes that. So I really like that about Aristotle. But I also like Plato because he the way that like sometimes I really like how in one of the videos mentioned how don't listen to what society says and basically along the lines of like what our generation considers trends from them. Don't listen to trends. Don't like if it's good like follow what you like
Mhm.
and don't really pay attention to what society says. Just if it makes you happy, then do it.
Yeah. I think that's something that's really great about these philosophers because there's definitely philosophers that take more of like a nihilistic approach where they think about like life negatively or think life in more of like a pessimistic manner. But I think with both Plato and Aristotle, they take more of a positive, like, let's do
Oh
this,
yeah,
let's
no, for real. This
live
is just
our
off
life to
off
the
the cuff.
fullest.
Well,
Sorry, what did
Eric's
you say?
right there. I feel like yeah.
I never really thought of it like that before either, because but you're 100% right. Like, which is funny too, because these are some of our beginning founders of philosophy, and it starts off optimistic, and as time goes on, it gets more and more pessimistic, and it just which I that's a funny way to put it.
Yeah, it was actually crazy because when I've never taken a philosophy class before, but I love psychology. I wrote like one of a speech for like my speech and debate on Maslow's hierarchy, which is like cultivating like the true like meaning of life, reaching like self-actualization. And it's crazy because Maslow, which is psychology uh wait, he's a theorist in psychology, and he talked about living life to the fullest. And I think that kind of parallels with both Plato and Aristotle's like perception, perceptions and um, beliefs on
I'm so
like
sorry, I forgot to mute.
you're so good, you're so good. I didn't know if you were talking to us. That's why I was like, oh, I don't want to talk over you. But yeah, like it kind of parallels with both their beliefs and like ideologies of um like let's do this, let's achieve the most out of this life. Let's reach those goals, let's reach those happiness, whatever that means for each individual. But definitely the way they approach it, I think Plato is definitely taking more of like a hopeful belief, but Aristotle takes more of like a realistic, oh wait, not belief. Plato takes more of like a hopeful approach, and then Aristotle takes more of like a realistic approach. As
Realistic and logical approach.
yeah, for sure. But yeah, I think it's really great that we talked about these two philosophers in the beginning, because kind of sets up for like more of like a positive outlook for this like
I'm
philosophy topic.
curious. I'm actually to pay attention to the journey now because I really do feel like you're onto something with the whole. As time goes, we get more pessimistic. So watch us as the time that we're done after this semester's over. We're just gonna see. We're gonna think all the wrong in the world.
We're gonna be like, dang, this sucks.
I
This sucks.
know. No. But no, it's there. I mean, because that's the other thing too, which I always found interesting, and this is the reason why I always got a kick out of philosophy. Whatever you want to say? These guys came up with these ideas literally hundreds of years ago, and we're
Yeah,
still talking about it today in a realistic sense because we know it can still affect us today. Like
yeah.
there is no real set definition for any of this stuff.
Hmm.
Like as much as we're learning from them, people could take what we're saying and learn from us, which I just think I find so fascinating.
Yeah, for sure. I think it's always like building ideas off of one another, trying to understand the way we interact, the way we can grow, and like cultivating like truth, like the world's truth and opportunities that lay
I
upon
feel
us.
like conversations like this also, in general conversation, like also can make you like learn stuff because you're learning other people's opinions and you're learning other experiences, and then those experiences can make you be like, wow,
Yeah.
this is this or this is that. It's like, wow. So I feel like also just simple conversations like this can make you like think differently.
Yeah,
Oh,
for sure.
100%. Helps with everybody's growth.
Yeah. I'm really glad that we had this discussion, and thank you everyone for completing the questions. I think we're good on time, right?
Yeah, we're
Mhm.
good.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Um, I'll stop the recording. I'll create the YouTube video and I'll send it in our the group canvas when it's all done, just so you guys can like check out the video and everything.
Okay.
And so you guys can reassure yourself that it's all completed.
Okay, perfect. Thank you
And I'll
so
do
much.
that right now. I don't know how long it takes, but I'll tell you when it's done.
Okay.
Okay.
Is it just gonna be like a YouTube link?
That's okay. So I had like I didn't fully understand it and I didn't look into it because I just was gonna take it as it comes. My
Okay.
assumption is I'm gonna create a YouTube account, upload a YouTube video to the my account, say copy that
I know how to do it. You can just send me the files and I can just upload them.
I yeah, I'll do that.
Yeah, my email. I think my email. I can put my email
Yeah,
in the chat.
if you're okay with that and comfortable, I'll easily do that. I'll do that. I'll be happy to do that.
Is it gonna be difficult to send over though? Because it's like
Well,
a
for me, I know how to upload files on Canvas, or if it comes down to it, just upload the files to YouTube and make like a un like listed video. Basically, what that means is you can't access the video without having the link.
yeah, I don't doubt like you know how to do that. I'm just wondering that if
Yeah, I know in the most
directions
respectful
then
way. I'll take care of it. I'll take care of it. I have it on my computer. I have the save files. I'll be happy to take care of it.
Okay, well,
okay,
since
yeah.
part on Jackson's computer,
I
that'll be
appreciate that
fine.
though.
If all else fails, Jackson will send my email, and you can shoot me just in case.
Easily, easily.
You guys are awesome.
Cool.
Thank you.
Thank you. Have a good night,
It was
guys.
great discussing with you guys.
Oh, I appreciate it. Thank you. You as well. Thank you. All right, bye.
Um